Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter Wilds, breaking records for Capcom. We are on Dexerto today. This is written by James Busby. Thank you for the article. It is linked down in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. The title goes, Monster Hunter Wilds breaks huge sales records as fastest selling Capcom game ever. And honestly, I'm really happy about this. Monster Hunter Wilds, I played it myself. It's very fun. It does have very bad performance on PC specifically, so hopefully that'll get fixed eventually. But in terms of gameplay, it is very fun, and I hope it does I hope they patch it or something like that, do better for the performance on PC. Though it's very, in my opinion, it's very inconsistent. Like sometimes it's not really that bad for me, but I've seen a lot of people have a lot of problems, so hopefully they fix it. But in terms of the actual game, in terms of gameplay and stuff like that, it's been doing very well, and it's very fun. Before we get into the video, I'd like to remind everyone, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys think about Monster Hunter Wilds, if you are enjoying it or are waiting for the patches to fix it, or if you're playing on console. I'd love to know. Monster Hunter Wilds has quickly become the fastest selling Capcom game ever, outselling Monster Hunter World, Resident Evil, and Street Fighter in just a matter of days. Wow. I mean, honestly, I knew it was doing well because they announced that, on Steam, it had over 1 million players on launch day. So that's pretty much bigger than any of the Capcom games that I know of. And Capcom generally they're definitely in the more niche style of games because like their big ones are, I guess now, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, and Street Fighter. And they're all generally relatively niche game genres. Like Resident Evil is pretty popular, but it's popular for a horror game. And Street Fighter is popular, but it's popular for a fighting game. I mean, it is the fighting game for a lot of people, and I understand. Like the only fighting game I've really played is Street Fighter and Super Smash Brothers. So it's like, and actually now that I think about it, some of my favorite horror games are the Resident Evil games too. So they do sell very well, but it's not super surprising that Monster Hunter Wilds is their fastest selling game, because Monster Hunter World, I think, was the fastest selling game before then. And this is a sequel to Monster Hunter Wilds with a lot of improvements and day one PC with both consoles as well. So it's not super surprising, but it's cool that it is the fastest selling game. To say that Monster Hunter Wilds is popular would be a big understatement. Since launch, it has reached the top 5 in all-time Steam player count records, surpassing giants like Marvel Rivals and Cyberpunk 2077 and Dota 2. Wow, it passed Dota 2? That's actually crazy. I didn't know it passed Dota 2. That's pretty... So it literally only didn't beat Counter-Strike, which is crazy because Counter-Strike has had very high highs when it comes to the player count, especially Counter-Strike 2 specifically. CSGO had some decent player count history, but I thought it was under the 2 Valve games, honestly. I can't, it's crazy that it broke Dota 2. Currently, Monster Hunter Wilds is the second most played game on Steam and appears just below Valve's ever popular Counter-Strike 2. However, it's not just the player count records Monster Hunter Wilds is beating. Yeah, the player count is insane. I mean, it's a very fun game, and the game is kind of built to play the campaign, and then you beat the campaign, and then you just endlessly play until you don't want to play anymore, because the game just is designed for an end game that you kill monsters, get their stuff, build stuff, go for higher difficulties, repeat. It's a perfect game loop in terms of that type of game. If you want an almost endless progression tree of cooler, bigger numbers and cool armors and weapons, Monster Hunter, it has always been your game, and Wilds just brings that up. And the fact that you can also play the game co-op as well. Though the multiplayer is kind of annoying because they don't want you, it's almost like they don't want you to play this campaign together because they don't want you to spoil, or you have to see the cutscene of the monsters first in order to play multiplayer with your friends on that mission. It's really weird. So I would say play solo until you can beat the campaign. The campaign isn't too long. Especially if you're a veteran, you can probably beat it pretty easily. On March 4th, 2024, Capcom announced that Monster Hunter Wilds has sold 8 million units in just 3 days. The devs revealed that Wilds is the fastest selling title in the company's history, setting a new benchmark for other popular games like Resident Evil and Street Fighter. I mean, I don't think Resident Evil and Street Fighter are ever going to beat Monster Hunter Wilds. The game's genre is much more niche than Monster Hunter, so I think it would be a tremendous shift in the gaming industry, in my opinion, if Resident Evil or Street Fighter beat Monster Hunter Wild's numbers. According to figures taken from Statistica, Wild's success puts it in similar standing with Nintendo's giants like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet launch, which sold 10 million copies in 3 days. Similar, Black Myth Wukong sold 10 million copies in the same time frame. So Wild's has quickly shot up the rankings in terms of popularity. I mean, it's an amazingly fun game, and kind of similar to Black Myth Wukong and the Pokemon games. It's also one of those games that I can also see FOMO being a really big deal, because being one of the only people that you know that isn't playing the game can convince people to play the game, because there's a lot of word of mouth that people love this game, and Monster Hunter fans have always loved these games, and people are becoming big Monster Hunter fans. I'm a pretty big Monster Hunter fan now too. I really enjoy World and Wilds, and I don't think I'm going to be playing every single release, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on the new ones, and especially with the Wilds DLCs probably as well. To put this in perspective, Capcom's last Monster Hunter release, Monster Hunter Rise, shifted only 4 million copies in 3 days. So it's clear the based slaying series is receiving global attention from both series fans and new players alike. To be fair to Monster Hunter Rise, that was a Switch exclusive until a year later. It came out only on the Switch, so it sold 4 million while only being on the Switch, which is also actually kind of insane when you think about it, because Monster Hunter Rise sold 4 million while it was Switch exclusive. To be fair, the Switch is the most popular video game console ever, close to being ever, so it's not that surprising. But it's not that surprising in terms of the numbers the Switch can do, but the fact that Monster Hunter Wilds only doubled it while being on every platform but the Switch, I think. I don't think Monster Hunter Worlds or Monster Hunter Wilds is on Switch. I don't think it is. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it is not on Switch. They gave up on it going on the Switch for a while, and it makes sense. The game can barely run on high-end PCs sometimes, so it would never be able to run on a Switch. To be fair, it is also just like so horribly unoptimized. They really need to work on that. Hopefully they can fix it, and I hope that they eventually fix it before, like in future. I hope they do this so they actually don't do it before release. They do it before release next time. Addressing the silly records, the devs explain how they remain firmly committed to satisfying the expectations of all users by leveraging its industry-leading game development capabilities in order to create highly entertaining gameplay experiences. If you're just kickstarting your journey, I'm not going to check your weapon tier list. I appreciate it though. I just think it's so cool that this game is... I think Monster Hunter is one of those games where it didn't really it had a good fan base, but because of the platforms the game was on, because like the ones that I know of, they were mostly on the 3DS. And until Monster Hunter World, it basically was only a mobile game. And I think that hurt it a lot for the audience outside of Japan, because Monster Hunter has always been really big in Japan, but outside of Japan, it's never been that huge until Monster Hunter World. And I think Monster Hunter Wilds does show the new direction they're going with consoles and PC release at the same time. And I hope the future of the Monster Hunter games is similar to this, but as long as they need 100%, they need to figure out like what happened in the code for the horrible optimization in PC, because you can do this maybe once. You can do this once while the game's good. You know, Monster Hunter Wilds, a lot of people will forgive performance problems if the game is good. And Monster Hunter Wilds, for the most part, is a really good game. People can complain about specific things, but the gameplay loop of Monster Hunter Wilds is very good and people really enjoy it. So they're safe from the performance stuff for a little bit, but you can only do that so many times. So I really hope that they figure it out or fix Monster Hunter Wilds, and then so they can just put that, whatever they do to fix it, into the next game whenever it comes out. Because there will be another one. These games don't last forever like some games. They just make new ones every few years. And I'm interested in where the DLC is when DLC is going to come for Wilds. And they did do a lot of free updates for World and Rise. So I'll be interested in what the free updates are. And if they ever do a collabs, because I know World had a bunch of Street Fighter collabs, a Witcher 3 collab. So it'll be cool to see if they do any cool collabs or events. We'll see. But other than that, I'm just excited that Monster Hunter Wilds is doing very well. Capcom is one of the bigger companies that I still have some faith in. Mostly because it seems that the higher ups at Capcom, while still there's still suits and ties, they understand, or they don't understand. They are more realistic of what they are trying to do. because either the devs or the people that talk to the higher ups make them understand that they are in a niche section of a niche thing. Like video games is huge, but horror games and fighting games are not as big as a lot of people think they are, because like Street Fighter is a well-known name, but not a lot of people buy fighting games or horror games. Millions of people do, but not the numbers that a lot of people want in terms of like shareholders. But it seems like Capcom is able to actually like hold off the shareholders sometimes. I'm sure with this, I mean, the problem with this one selling so well is now they expect whatever Capcom's next product is to sell just as well, and I don't think it's going to happen, which is a problem, because I don't know what Capcom's working on next, but it's not going to sell 8 million copies in 3 days, I don't think. I'll be happy to prove it. I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but I don't see it happening realistically. But that'll be for another time. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Comment down below what you guys think about the records that Monster Hunter Wilds is breaking, and if you can even play it. Hopefully if you weren't able to play it, you'll be able to get a refund on Steam. Other than that, if you like to follow me on other places, I stream on Twitch at nighttime, at EST night times, if you'd like to check me out there. On my socials, I am the Technojelly at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye everyone.